Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. This is Gray's Guitars, and thank you for watching. I am definitely feeling a little bit better now. COVID is slowly getting out of my system. It's been about a week or so since I first had it. Under a week since I first had it. But the only thing that's really left over from it is the sinuses are bugging me a little bit. So this is something that I think a lot of us kind of saw coming, just kind of the way it was handled, and let's just kind of go through it. So Fulltone reportedly shutting down its California factory after 3 decades. This 4-year climate makes 100% made in the USA impossible. It's time for the old guy to move out of the way and make room for the geniuses of the next generation. Writer's own Michael Fuller in an alleged leaked memo. So none of this is, 100% concrete yet, but probably is. Fulltone Effects is reportedly set to close down its California factory after 30 years of operations, according to an alleged leaked memo written by company owner Mike Fuller. The memo itself was posted on the thread on the Gear page, with Fuller writing that the factory building is now up for sale after functioning as Fulltone's Californian manufacturer base for the past 3 decades. Seemingly addressing dealers, Fuller explained the decision to close the California plant, stating, "I will not start pumping my personal money into a business that no longer turns a profit. This 4-year climate makes 100% made in the USA impossible." Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point with just labor costs and everything like that. It's very hard to make something like a guitar pedal, really anything in the U.S., outside of like food. It's with a heavy heart that I announced that Fulltone will be closing its doors in CA after 30 years, the memo read. The building, which I own, is up for sale. Myself, my crew, want to thank you for the support all these years and for putting up with my eccentricities as well. The eccentricities you refer to seemingly allude to the controversy surrounding Fuller in 2020, which led to some dealers and artists boycotting the Fulltone products. So the gist of that was basically most places refused to sell his pedals, so you couldn't do it on. He pulled them from Reverb. Reverb didn't say you could stop. I think it's only used ones you can sell on Reverb. Maybe not even at all anymore. eBay, I believe you can still get them. Sweetwater pulled them. Guitar Center. Musicians' Friends, pretty much all of the major corporations were like, yeah, we're not touching that one with a 10-foot pole, and just pulled his products. And that was the end of it. So that'll definitely hurt your business if you cannot list your products on the major retailers' websites. So that is probably a combination part of it as well. She said, "Do not feel sorry for me. I've made many mistakes and learned a lot in the past 30 years. Fuller continues, "This is with a heavy heart for my 10, 15, 20, and 26-year employees who are like family. I would have closed Fulltone years ago were it not for them." While elaborating on the factors and financial difficulties that have contributed to the closure, Fuller went on to assert the company will remain a valid corporation. He will work to build a few pedals here and there. So this is not them closing fully. This is them basically being small and probably going to turn into more of a small niche boutique company. That's what's going to happen here. I'm going to go back to what I'm good at, playing and recording my Metacore 70s rock, Fuller revealed, and I'll do the occasional outside project, particularly for unknown talent who could never otherwise afford to record through tape machines and great digital, let alone have a 99 finely tuned vintage guitars. 65 vintage amps and a ton of fine vintage microphones at their disposal. So it sounds like he's going to get into recording. Fulltone will also be closing down its dealer order portal, meaning companies will have a limited amount of time to place a final order before the factory officially closes in the next 2 months. That's kind of him just reiterating it. We are only selling stock that we either have in stock or that we can make without producing new material or procuring new parts, which can take months in some instances, and we will be closed within the next month or two, depending on on when the building sells and how many pedal dealers want for their final order. The building is currently up for sale for $2,495,000. When it sells, Fuller plans to relocate with his wife, a well-known artist's 17-acre property that they bought in 2021, which accommodates his world-class studio. It's time for the old guys to move out of the way, make room for the geniuses of the next, more digital generation, Fuller concluded. Thanks again, and feel free to reach out. So yeah, I mean that is kind of what it is. It's kind of something that I suspected might happen. It sucks to see people lose their jobs, no matter what it is, no matter how crappy of a boss they may be or may seem, no matter what your opinion about him commenting on the protests is I don't like seeing people lose their job, ultimately. And this is one of those things where, the second you get into politics, you saw all of these major corporations not wanting to touch this company with a 10-foot pole, and they pulled their stuff. So he pulled his stuff off of Reverb. I believe he pulled himself out of the Reverb pedal movie. I know there was some sort of pedal movie they did. Then, Guitar Center, Sweetwater, Musicians Friends, lots of big dealers just no longer sold the products. And yes, you could go directly to their website or you could buy them secondhand. But this is going to be one of these things that now that this is shutting down, this is probably going to see a flock of people buying these pedals. To a certain extent, I think this may be a good marketing strategy for him, because if you look at Digitech recently with the whammy pedals, those things, they're back down now, but when they announced they weren't making them anymore for a while before they got bought out, everybody was jumping to buy one of those things. Now, I mean, an OCD is, in my opinion, I believe it's just a tweaked TS808, a tweaked tube screamer. But a lot of, this is kind of the bread and butter. I know he does a lot of other stuff, but the OCD is kind of like the bread and butter of this company. And I definitely see them going up in price. And I think what's going to happen is he is going to probably just make the original version ones, because I know there's several different iterations of these things, in boutique numbers, and he'll probably sell them for $250 a pedal. That's kind of my guess is what's going to happen from now on. It's probably going to be a made-to-order type scenario where he will make you one, but you have to place that order, and then it's going to take him probably a couple weeks to get everything together and get that shipped out to you. But that's just my opinion, I guess, on the matter. It sucks that people are losing their jobs over this. It's just one of those things where you hate to see it. You do. Whether, as I said, whether you agree with him or not, it's irrelevant. You don't like seeing people in the U.S. lose their jobs. And I doubt he's going to want to do any of this manufacturing overseas, because it's a lot of work. And it sounds like, he's been doing it for 30 years. He's probably close to retirement anyway. So him closing down shop a little early isn't really going to hurt too much. And he's going to do some recording stuff. I don't know what the employees are going to do or how many employees there were. But it's just kind of a sad thing to see a pedal company that used to be, is the staple for many musicians to just go the way it did. So that's where we're going to end it. If you're new here, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, feel free to comment what you want to see for future guitar and music-related videos. My name is Steve Gray. This is Gray's Guitars. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.